But the interesting thing, Bill, is what I do is not comedy. And that's possibly the one thing that has stopped me doing it, because comedy relies on jokes.
Yeah.
We don't do jokes. We do just body laughter.
Yeah.
And
Look, I'll play devil's advocate and say that comedy relies on... Because some of my favourite comedians don't tell jokes. They just tell their life story.
But they do.
Yeah.
But they do. And the best ones are the ones that just stand up and just talk about life.
Yeah.
And what they're actually telling people, and people don't actually understand this subconsciously, is they're telling people that life is funny. And you can actually be out there and see life as funny.
Yeah.
And that's why people love comedy festivals, apart from the fact that they have the ability to... their permission to openly laugh with another group of people, which is what my laughter sessions are all about. But they're saying life as it is funny, which is a sense of humour, and they're trying to portray that message. Unfortunately, we'll walk down the street and everything that we see says, oh, life's not funny, 24/7.
Everything we see says buy this, buy that.
And the 24/7 media cycle is it's bad. There's this catastrophe in Venezuela. There's this.
It's fucked.
But we're attached to it, and it's just coming at us the whole time. So we lose that sense of humour. So the comedy festival is so popular because people say, oh, can we escape from everything else and just go to a show just for an hour and just laugh and just lose our stuff 100%. For an hour. So, the greatest comedians like the Billy Connolly, Pete Hallier, these sort of people, they're not one line. They just stand up there and tell life
100%.
Stories,
And I tell you what, to one of your points as well, like one of the greatest comedians of all time, in my opinion, is George Carlin. And George Carlin was political. He basically was a political satirist.
Oh, okay.
Taking the piss out of the world that we live in, and realising that like it's ridiculous. And don't get too carried away in thinking about how important having a big house or having a good job or all this stuff that it's like he just takes the piss out of it, for lack of a better term, and it was great. It was an awesome form of comedy. I think comedians have that as not all comedians. You can go up there and just tell knock jokes, and that's cool. But a lot of comedians, I think they're allowed, in the day and age now that we can't say what we think a lot of the time for lack of or for risk of persecution. That a comedian, because it's all about where it's delivered from. If it's delivered from a place of, hey, have a look at this, it's silly, let's have a laugh and whatever, then it's okay. I really think comedy is about where is it coming from? Is it coming from a good place, or is it coming from an evil place? What you're saying, and you can joke about most things in that case. And I think comedians comedians are really important because they can get up on stage and talk about current issues like no one else and get away with it. Bring things to people's minds. It's not what a comedy's all about, but it's really important, and I think it's still great comedy. So, I think we need it more and more in this day and age where you can't bring topics up for risk of getting smashed on Facebook or getting...
social media is an interesting one. It's created a big divide now. We've got a love-hate relationship with every... I got sucked into one this morning, and I'm going, why am I doing this? Because I was sucked into that I don't like this, and if I'd let myself keep going, it would have gone to a love-hate relationship, So comedians just say, can we just lighten up and can we look at the world in a different way? And it's a comedic way, but it appeals to our conscious brain. We still have to process it through the brain and go, is that funny or isn't that funny? So political satire, if you're on the wrong side of the political fence, you might go, nothing is funny. So we're not going to laugh at you. So comedians, there's different types of comedians for different types of audiences, and as long as you get the right comedian for the right audience,
got to know their crowd.
Everyone just sits there and just kills themselves laughing for a whole hour, and it gets to the stage where you haven't even heard the joke, but as soon as they hit the punchline, you go, oh, that's my cue to laugh again. So everyone just laughs again. And certainly the infectiousness of people laughing around you is just golden. If you hear someone authentically laughing around you, you just go, oh, this feels so good. That person is in such a state of joy, it's doing me good.
It's funny, though, because my favourite TV show of all time, or my two probably, are The Office, the UK version, and Seinfeld. And, both comedies,
Right.
And I know that if I'm sitting watching The Office by myself, I won't laugh out loud.
No.
I love it. I love The Office. Yes. But if I'm sitting by myself, I won't laugh out loud. And I'm thinking, that is hilarious, but I'm just not laughing out loud because I'm by myself. And then if I'm sitting with one person or a group of people, something comes on, I'm like,
I know.
What happens there?
What happens there is we laugh inside. And I love comedy, and Ricky Gervais is possibly one of the greatest comedic geniuses out there. Agree. No doubt about it. I don't like Seinfeld just because I don't like American comedy with the canned humour. That's just me. That's my preference. But because I don't like it, it doesn't matter who they are. As long as they're American and it's got canned laughter, I don't like it. Whereas if it's British, I'll give them a chance. And Ricky Gervais, it's not what he says, but what he does. It's that little glint into the camera, just a look into the camera with his eyes, and you go, oh, that's funny. But I'll be sitting there as a laughter expert for hours on end watching all this comedy, and I won't have laughed once. I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm laughing inside. Yet as soon as you get me with someone else, mate, play the tape back. We've laughed a lot.
That's
because you're laughing and I'm laughing. So you feed off each other. It's so
weird, isn't it?
It is, but it makes sense because when we're alone, we go within and we just, we've got nothing to feed off. And we watch it and we're stimulated by it, but we don't actually respond the same way as if we were in a group of people actually laughing. So what's interesting about that is a lot of the research studies that have been done on comedy. And comedy is very subjective. And I will tell you now, even Ricky Gervais in a room full of people laughing, you still won't laugh in the same way as you would in one of my laughter sessions because it's coming from a different place. And it's coming from the body controlling the mind rather than the mind controlling body.
Interesting.
But it is fascinating that you can sit there all night. And a lot of people will say to me, oh, I laugh all the time. And I look at them and I go, tell your face. There's something about your face that says you haven't even smiled in the last decade.